guys, so in today's vlog I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of living in Buenos Aires. So the first pro that I want to talk about is the city itself. The city of Buenos Aires is a very beautiful city. If you've ever been here or you've ever seen it, the first thing I noticed at least was the architecture. Now there's old architecture and new architecture, and it's sort of mixed together all throughout the city, and it's really beautiful to see some of these old restored buildings or buildings that have been kept, quite well, in good conditions is what I'm trying to say. And to see that next to a skyrise or a big tall building, it's kind of cool. So you get like that classic culture or like the history of the city, and you get your city vibe, the big buildings, the offices, and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's definitely a pro. A con about the city, I would say, is that there's a lot of traffic. It's like any big city, it's filled with people, filled with noise, and it's alive. And sometimes all that noise and all the bustle and the hustle and all the people, it kind of can get a little annoying, if you're not from a big city, I would say that it might bug you a little bit. When I first moved to the city, to Buenos Aires, I'm from LA. But in LA, it's the difference between like LA and New York is that I feel like New York is a big city and it's got this vibe. It's like all alive and rushing. Everybody's rushing everywhere. And in LA, it wasn't like that. I lived next to the beach. Everything was chill. I came here and it was just, a lot of noise, a lot of people moving around. But then you get used to it. But I would say that's a con if you're not used to living like that.
It's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down, snap, ah! And then after that, you just drop in, just ride the barrel and get pitted. So pitted.
Bud, what's up? You want to say hi to the camera? My dog just came over here in the middle of the video. Come here, bud. So another pro would be transportation in the city. Transportation is everywhere. I mean, you can get from one point of the city to another quite quickly, and it's pretty cheap. When I first came, it was very cheap. When I first got here 8 years ago, it was very, very cheap. Now, it's kind of expensive, especially if you're living here. It's still affordable, but you feel it a lot more than you did when, 8 years ago. So yeah, so that's a pro. You can get around here super quick. You really don't need a car. It is a luxury. It's nice to have a car, but just know that if you ever do decide to move out here, it's going to be like New York. You're going to get around on the bus and the train and the subway, and if you want a car, you can get one, but you're going to have to pay for parking. You're going to have to deal with all those kinds of complications that come with having a car in a big city. You want to be in the rest of the video, bud? Huh? He's definitely a pro. He's a pro of living in Buenos Aires. Another con would be the crime rate. Like any big city, there's crime, but when you come here, you're gonna hear stories. If you ever decide to move here, come on a trip here, you're gonna hear stories about people getting their cell phones robbed, their wallets, tourists, get their cameras stolen. I've actually had 3 cell phones, 3 or 4, stolen. So, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of like careless with my cell phones and with cameras and all that kind of stuff. I kind of just walk around with it in the air, So I kind of deserve what happened. But it is true that people kind of worry a lot about crime here. So yeah, that's definitely a con. Another pro would be the food. If you've never had asado before, you definitely need to come to Argentina and have some asado. Make sure to try Fernet with Coke. Fernet is good, not alone. I know that a lot of people now take shots of Fernet like it's some kind of like it helps you digest food, which is true. But next time your friends say, hey man, let's take a shot of Fernet because I'm a hipster. No, I'm just kidding. But next time your friends say, hey, let's take a shot of Fernet, mix it with some Coke, with a lot of ice in a glass, stir it up, and you got a Fernet with Coke. And that's way better than just drinking straight Fernet. Yeah, and back to the asado. So asado is like barbecue. It's Argentinian barbecue. A lot of people think for some reason, because we're like in South America, that we eat tacos, but we don't eat tacos. We eat empanadas. You can find tacos and that kind of food here, more in the touristy areas, but we eat empanadas, we have asado, you can get pizza, lots of, European kind of Italian food is easy to find. Yeah, so when you come here, make sure to try the asado. It's very good. Con would be the price of almost everything kind of fluctuates all the time. The economy fluctuates. The exchange rate goes up all the time. So if you have a normal job here, everything kind of is expensive. I say that, but you can also have, I'm not saying you can't have a good life if you don't have a good job or a normal job. You just got to be careful how you spend your money, because you could waste it very easily, very quickly. So yeah, if you move here, be sure to be careful where you spend your money, and be ready for the soap and everything you buy every month from the supermarkets to go up every month. I left for like 2 months just now when we got married and we went on our honeymoon, and when I came back, the prices all went up. It was crazy. I mean, they went up a lot because I hadn't been to the market in like 2 months. So yeah, so that's definitely a con. I'm surprised I haven't talked about this sooner, but another pro would be the nightlife in Argentina. I mean, you can party all night. You can party till the sun comes up, and you can keep partying until the middle of the next day. And there's a bunch of nightclubs. A lot of famous artists come to play in Argentina because the vibe of the crowds is like really positive. So when you go out, everybody's having a good time. I gotta say that I've seen a lot of less fights than I did in Los Angeles when I would go out, when people would drink and stuff. I was younger, so maybe it was just a crowd that I was around at the time, or what we were doing. We were at house parties, so we saw fights, and we did go to bars when I was in LA. That was like right when I left, but I think the vibe is a little more chill. There's still obviously fights and stuff like that. I've seen crazy fights over here too, but I just feel like it's more mellow. But yeah, there's neighborhoods that are just full of bars, full of places to go eat, go hang out and party with your friends, and that's definitely a pro. When you come to Argentina, I would say most people remember that when they come here. And if you live here, it's fun because you get more used to it.
Something's wrong with the CD! What the hell is going on? Just...
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth motherfucker sitting in my throne again. I'm mad, but I ain't stressing.
But also a pro, depending on who you are, is that the people that have been living here their whole lives go out at like 2 a.m. So if you're not ready to go out at 2 a.m, you're gonna be super tired, and you're not gonna be ready to party like the rest of your Argentinian friends that you've made here. Luckily, I'm used to it, so when I go out now, it's fine. But if you're not ready for that, if you're used to going to sleep early, you're used to at 12, the party's over, you're super tired, that's definitely going to be a con for you. A con, this is just a random con I'm throwing in here because I remember it stayed in my head forever. So I went out with some friends here when I first moved here, and it was like 4 a.m, the sun had come up, we'd been partying all night and drinking, and I wanted a hamburger, right? I was like, whoa. Jack in the Box is open 24 hours in the States, and they serve hamburgers at any time of the morning, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they do. Maybe I was never up that late, that early, and tried to get a burger. Whatever. The point is I went all over the city once trying to get a hamburger. They had the hamburgers there, and they had them like heating, but they weren't selling them. I was like, just sell me that hamburger. I can see it. I want a hamburger. And no, they wouldn't sell me the hamburger. So that's a con for me. Even though now I'm used to it, I don't eat hamburgers at 5 a.m. anymore. But I went crazy trying to find a hamburger, man.
In McDonald's land a long time back, a stranger showed up dressed all in black.
Rubble, rubble.
He followed Ronald and Grimace that day and tried to take their burgers away.
Another pro would be just sort of the lifestyle. People go out more, like they go out during the week with their friends, maybe once a week. I am not, somebody that really goes out that much, but I do know people that, get together with work partners, or, they go out at a happy hour or something after work, and it's a more mellow vibe. It's like you work hard, but you also have a good time. You try to have a good time. The family vibe is really real here. Like, families kind of stay together and hang out together. You see brothers still hanging out, after years. Which really, that doesn't have to do with the country, but I think it does have to do with the culture. And I'm sure there's other parts of the world where that sort of family vibe exists, and, like, people are open and friendly. And, so you're going to see that when you come here. You're going to see, like, people being more open, wanting to go out, wanting to go do stuff, wanting to dance, wanting to laugh, wanting to tell jokes, just more open. Friendly people. I'm not saying everyone's friendly. Of course, there are negative people, there are bad people, like everywhere, but the vibe here is more like that. And if you didn't know, here when you say hi to somebody, you have to give them a kiss on their cheek. So when you get here, don't get freaked out if people are trying to kiss you on the cheek. I've seen some people kind of get freaked out when that happens, but it's super common here. When you walk into the office, you have to, like when I walk into work, I have to say hi to everybody and kiss them on the cheek. At first it was a little awkward for me because, I do that with my mom and dad back home. I used to do that growing up with my mom and dad. Like kiss them on the cheek, like when I get home or leave. And I thought it was just, between families. But then when I came here, it was like between everybody. So yeah. So that's not a con, it's just a little tip I'm giving you guys there. Another pro would be like if you want to go maybe to the beach, or you want to go to see, like the mountains or the valleys, the hills, whatever. Argentina has all these different kinds of landscapes and habitats, I think it's called. I don't know what the word would be, but it has a bunch of different landscapes and, a lot of nature, a lot of green. Not in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is more of a city, but if you want to leave, you're not that far. All around, Buenos Aires has been, living here has been a great experience for me. I got in touch with my culture. My mother and father are both from Buenos Aires, so I actually got to, walk down the same streets they walk down. I got to, spend time with my family that lives out here and really just see what it is, see what it really feels like to be Argentinian. Because my family in Los Angeles, they're all Argentinians, basically, almost all of them. So we have that that culture kind of stayed in our family parties and all that stuff. So living here was just like being in a big family party. It's like I already knew everything. I wasn't like too shocked. So it was a great experience, and I'd have to say that coming here changed my life. I met, my wife here, and what else could I ask for? It really just made my life better in a way. So, that I would say like traveling or moving anywhere could do that for anyone. It's just how your story plays out. So yeah, so those are just some pros and some cons. Make sure to share this video if you haven't yet. I'll give you like 2 seconds. Do me a favor and share the video. I'm sorry if I was looking over here the whole time, and now I'm realizing I should have been looking straight at the camera. But yeah, so be sure to share this, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. You're all dope. I'm the Undead Gaucho, signing off from my house in Buenos Aires. Peace. I was definitely not staring at the camera that whole time. Sorry, guys.